Today I make a full bottle of apple cider. Somebody launched a rocket toward me.
What the is that?
And Jack saved me and the M3. Hello, my name is Carl. In this video we are going to replace the brake fluid and clutch fluid for this BMW E90 M3 with 6-speed manual transmission gearbox. The clutch hydraulic is connected to the brake fluid reservoir, so it is a good time to replace them together. The first part of the work is to replace the brake fluid. Second is to replace the clutch fluid. Third is to remove the air bubble inside the brake system. And finally, reset the CBS, condition-based service reminder. Basically, you are going to need a fresh brake fluid, and other good people to help you with the work, some hand tools to remove the wheels and open the bleeder valves, and a diagnostic computer to run the DSC pump. You can also work like a professional using a pressure brake bleeder connected to the reservoir to help you with the work. So let's start the work now. These are the basic tools for the brake fluid and clutch fluid service. Let's lose the wheel locks so we can remove the wheel after we jack up the car in the air. The order of removing the wheel locks is start from any one you like and go to the second one next to it. This one, this one, this one, and this one, like drawing a star. This order also applies when you tighten the wheel locks. Or if you have power tools, you can do this later. There are many hazards in today's work. Number one, the brake fluid is corrosive. It will damage the car paint and many other stuff. Number two, we have to avoid the air getting into the brake line. That will induce loss of braking. Number three, it is risky to work under the car that is floating in the air. So as always, safety first. We will do everything to protect ourselves and our precious car. Sorry. First, let's remove the old brake fluid in the reservoir. The reservoir is located beneath the air conditioner filter housing on the left-hand side of the car. Now we have a better view of the brake fluid reservoir and the DSC module. Remove the fluid level sensor. Let's place a rag here. The brake fluid is corrosive, so we don't want it to drip out on any part of the car. Alright, this is a level sensor. Be careful with that. How do you look, my friend? I think that's pretty dark. Okay, first let's draw out the old fluid so we don't have to pump the old fluid through the whole system. Oh, I see some old black dust. 我这个抽出来有抽到黑黑的东西。
你抽不可能抽较够啊。
系啊。Okay, I think that's the limit of how much we can draw out from the reservoir. Only about 200 milliliter. The reservoir filter is so difficult to remove and so easy to break. We'll just leave it there and pump them out. The order of draining fluid is to start from the bleeder valve that is most far away from the mast cylinder. Okay, now the rear right wheel is off. The bleeder valve is right here. Okay, this is a nipple to drain the brake fluid, and we are going to release the bleeder valve with 9mm spanner. We are going to need this 1/4 inch plastic tube to drain the brake fluid from the bleed nipple. It is recommended to use a transparent one because we can see the condition of the drained brake fluid. We are going to pump the brake pedal until we see clean brake fluid coming out of the bleeder valve. How high? Fang, Cai. Fang, Cai. Fang, Cai. 好，这看起来是干净的。We may pump out a lot of old fluid, so remember to top up the fluid reservoir after every bleeder valve service. 踩，好，那应该会使，大概5下，它油都还算干净。好，踩，放，踩，放，踩，放，好。右边前面好了，好踩，放，踩，放，踩，好，应该差不多。First, let's remove this underbody protection cover. We are going to need 8mm socket and 10mm socket. Now the underbody protection cover is removed. This is the manual transmission gearbox. This is the front side of the car. And now we are going to take a look at the clutch slave cylinder, which is here. So the bleed valve is right here. We're going to remove that rubber cover and access the bleed valve. All right, there's really not much space for us. Okay, we lost the rubber cover, but don't worry, it is right here. Now I'm going to use a 11mm socket with an universal joint to access that bleed valve. Like this, and release it. And don't worry, it is a check valve. Once we press the clutch pedal, the fluid will come out.
Here you go.
During the bleeding of the clutch fluid, you may temporarily lose response of the clutch pedal. Remember, keep the reservoir fluid full, then pump the clutch until you see clean brake fluid flush into the waste bottle and there's no bubble in it. Then you can close the bleeder valve of the slave cylinder, continue pressing the clutch pedal, you will get its original performance. 出来，好，你踩个10下。来，再来，好，好，再来5，它油没有全部漏出来，6、7，好像没有很多哈，基本上都松松的，对不对？完全松了哈。好 ，Now the oil level is lowered, so let's put in more fuel before we pump. 把空气推出来。You see how much brake fluid I wasted? So it is necessary to top up the fluid reservoir to avoid air getting into the system.
这边满了。
Make sure there's not many bubbles inside the fluid. We can remove the drain hose and secure the bleed valve. And this is a plastic slave cylinder, so when we lock, don't over tighten it. Okay. Restore this rubber cap. Okay, that's it. This is really a mess. Hello, where are you?
What the is that?
Now we are going to use ISTA to activate the DSC pump to remove the air bubbles inside the system. So go to Vehicle Management, Service Functions, Chassis and Suspension, Traction Control System, Brake Bleeding Procedure, ABL, Brake Bleeding Routine. The right side is the instruction. We just follow the left side. So we already done everything. Continue. Carry out the preliminary bleeding of brake system. That means replacing the brake fluids. We already done. Connect the bleeder hose. It's done. Open the bleeder valve, then run the program to activate the DSC module. We hear the DSC working. When the program pauses, press the pedal several times to bleed out the air bubble. 第3、第4、第5、第6，有没有气体？好，关起来。At last, close the bleeder valve. We go to the next one. 我们可以进行到下一个了。The order is to start from the brake calipers that is most far away from the mast cylinder. 那你看一下那个油壶里面有还是有没有满？好，爸爸看一下油壶的量。
无啊，无添，爱添啊。
爱添好，那你帮他添者。
我添。
Okay, close bleeder valve. Continue. Remove bleeder unit. Check brake fluid level. Okay, we are checking right now. Continue. Continue and service. Now we are all done with this ISTA job. After the brake fluid has been replenished, let's reset the CBS reminder. We can reset the CBS reminder by the column switch. On the M3, you have to start the engine first, but on the regular E90s, you don't have to start the engine. First, long press the trip reset button until you see the service icon. Scroll down until we see the brake fluid icon. Press BC, reset mark, long press BC to reset. Or we reset CBS with ISTA. We go to Vehicle Management, Text Search, CBS, Start Search, CBS, Reset, Display. Okay, attention, now is synchronizing the time. We continue. Brake fluid on the left, 31%. Number 6, click brake fluid. Continue. Performing CBS reset. Please wait. Okay, brake fluid 100%. The cycle is number 7. The reset has been done and the service function. Continue. Service function finished. Continue. Done? We are all done with the computer job. Let's put back everything. I had set the parking brake and put the car into gear before jacking up the car. After the clutch fluid service was done, I tested the clutch and gears with the car on the jack stance. But I forgot to put the car back into gear and set the parking brake, so this happened. Luckily, the car stopped itself on the lowest point of the ramp. Nothing was damaged. I'm going to use a car jacking checklist next time I work with the car jacks. It's a disaster. The tightening torque for the wheels on the M3 is 120 Newton meters.这样子就好了。刚刚是那个刹车啦，没有入档。
你有刹车无刹车，同款头前拢爱动。好啦，我来啊。
好。Finally, road test. But before we go onto the public road, let's try to roll back and forth in our own yard. Remember, safety first. That is okay. That's all for the brake fluid and clutch fluid services. Last messages to take home. Number 1, safety first. You already see how dumb I was that I nearly killed my M3. Number 2, always avoid air getting into the hydraulic system by topping up the fluid reservoir. Number 3, I suggest we raise the drain tube a little bit higher than the bleeder valve so it is easier to inspect the drain fluid before it slips away. Number 4, pump the pedals until you see clear and bubble-free fluid coming out of the bleeder valve. Let me show you last thing. The next video of the maintenance series is going to include the replacement of the power steering fluid. You are very welcome to stay tuned with us, and if you are interested, please visit our video about changing the spark plugs, the ignition coils, the engine oil, the manual transmission, and the differential fluid. See you!